And today we're speaking about the understanding girlfriend, boyfriend, what it means, what it really means, you know, what it means in this society, generation, this moment, and what it actually, you know, is coming from, like what basically it pertains to. Right, so I'm going to read a couple of your responses of our question of the day, which we asked you, is navigating relationships harder in this digital age? What do you think? Right, so I have a couple of your responses from Facebook, and we have Charles Arap Tuwei, who says, technology is supposed to foster relationship as it's one of the features of modern civilization. We should see more bond due to various tools of connectivity. Apparently, its misuse has led to many broken relationships. And Fallon Fabiano says, it depends with what type of relationship you're seeking, which is true. You can find a whole lot of things online, so you just have to, you know, choose your battle, if you may. But thank you so much for, you know, your response. I'll be reading more of them as we go on with our conversation. But she was saying something very interesting about the way things were. And it's true. There's a lot of progression, especially if you're looking at the angle of where women are coming from the 60s, you know, 50s before that to present day. There's a lot of empowerment. The things that looked like empowerment, but they are not today. Right, so there needs to be a whole lot of balance, you know, especially if you're a career woman or even if you're a stay-at-home wife or mom. It just depends on how, you know, it's being contextualized, because everything is a win depending on where you're standing and how you're looking at it. But what she says is important, right? So how do we now balance what is abuse and misuse by what girls are supposed to be, and exactly what like the empowerment, but then not also losing yourself, your identity in what society expects you to be, but then, you know, the balance right there.
The balance between the understanding.
Yes. What is a healthy understanding?
The healthy
and when are you supposed to even be that?
Right, right. I thought understanding was applied mostly earlier. Seems even now they're still applying the same understanding, that you need to understand I need money. You need to understand I need to do what I should do to get what I need. You should understand that I can a girl can get an older person to fund their relationship with this young boy so that they can move on, and the boy can understand that my girlfriend must do what she can do so that she can give us a good life, because that is all what they want. They want a good life. It doesn't matter however the length it can go. They want good life. They don't want to struggle, and that one can bring really challenge in the relationship thereafter, even that time, because I don't know why they just want their relationship and their love to be just here up and not down here inside you, that you're prepared anytime.
Like, you know, your mind but not your heart.
The mind but not my heart. And there's a thin line between mind and heart. At times when something does take longer time in the mind, it drops into the heart, even at time without your knowledge, because when, you know, relationship is connection. If you continue to connect, how can you give money and time and the sacrifice, whereas there's no connection? There must be a connection somewhere. Only that somebody is taking advantage of that connection.
Okay,
yes.
Just hold on, Perina.
Yes.
So Brandy, what is that connection?
Yes.
What's she saying?
In our opinion, it's the investment that somebody makes to keep the relationship
But
together.
is it emotional?
At first, it doesn't start emotional, but if you stay together, you guys will get attached and the emotions will...
So is that something that you aspired, like usually people aspire to, or no?
No, that's something people avoid. People avoid putting the heart into the relationship.
Why?
They say penda na akili, wacha moyo ipige damu.
Kwa nini watu wapendi na moyo?
Because once your heart is attached to someone and this person doesn't have your best interest at heart, if your heart is involved, it will affect the way you make decisions. you might want to leave this man, but because you love him, now you'll say, "Ah, let me give him like 3 more months, maybe he'll change." He won't. He won't change.
So how do you also know that the other person is not using is using their minds and not their hearts? Like the man now.
If a man makes you compromise way too much, he's not using his heart. When men love things, you've seen how they value their cars, their shoes, their wives. When they grow old and they get a wife, they don't want that thing or person to over-compromise. They don't want their cars to go through dirty mud if it's a sports car. They don't want their shoes, their Air Force, they don't want it to step on that. Then if he really valued you and he had your best interest at heart, he wouldn't want you to over-compromise in such a way that you're now uncomfortable, now you're sad.
What do you think, Penina?
Right. In as much as they want to separate the two, the mind and the heart, because in the first stages of every relationship, it starts just small. Every time you meet, you spend time together, you share your views, you share whatever you have, the bond becomes more stronger and more emotional. You become attached, you become more connected. And because they don't want to have that connection, the problem is, must they engage in this relationship? Must they? That's my question. Must they engage? Why don't you come back to yourself and say, must I invest all my time and they are very precious. Your time and your precious. Yes, your time and your time and your finances are very precious. You don't get money so easily. You work for it and you sweat for it. Why don't you do away? Where is all this desperation that you need to just tip too low?
So why are they important? Why does one need to engage if then you will not, give your best or give yourself into it?
Because people are lonely. People are seeking. Even if we avoid it, even if we hope, pray, trust and believe that our heart won't get involved, that is what we want. We are looking for attachments. People don't have friends. They don't have good relationship with their parents. They don't have good relationship with themselves. So they don't want to be there. They want to, they're seeking love. But then again, as much as people want love, they don't want to act dumb. They don't want to put themselves in a vulnerable position. Like, people are lonely, they want it. I promise you, people want love. Young people are yearning for love. But then again, they don't want to be heartbroken so many times, because as much as everyone wants love, nobody wants to admit it. So because we are all lying to ourselves and each other, we end up hurting each other. So
and that's the thing that you would know, like it's a circle. We're lying to each other. We're doing this, but we're not going to admit it. Yeah.
Everyone knows that we all want love. That is why people are going on self-cares. They're trying to love themselves.
Wellness.
That's why we're using the amount of investments he makes as a measure of love, so that you know that he can give you what you're looking for.
So what does healthy look like? What does a healthy, how can it be defined?
I wouldn't know what a healthy relationships look like, but
but in your perception, Brandy, you don't have to be in one, but basically what you've seen.
I think is where both needs of both people are being reached. Like for example, girls like to be adorned. They like to be taken care of. Basically, their hair done, their bills paid, and boys want to be nurtured in a mom-like way. I don't know why. Their mom's not doing a good job, but like,
oh my goodness.
That was the
moms are oh my god.
But then again, girls also have daddy issues. That's what they call it. And men have mommy issues. So if your girl will help you get rid of this, and your man will help you get rid of that, that is what I would define as a healthy relationship. That nobody has to over-compromise.
I hear you. But if I can say, I feel like you need to work on yourselves together, like, because we are so much work that if I brought me in pieces, and my partner brought himself in pieces, we have a whole disaster. But she said something very, very important. Love. you know, they're seeking love, and love will drive anything. It will make you jump over hoops. We've been young, we've seen that, you know, to just get it, you know. So what can you say about what she said? Because it's really, really important. You know, we can laugh about it, man, but it's deep, especially for our young people, yeah.
There's those principal things. There are things that you cannot change. Like 1 + 1 is 2. That one you cannot change. It is a principle. Human beings are relational. And we were created right from the beginning for companion. Man and woman was created for companion. When she says that we are lonely, it is true they are lonely. Why? The gadgets they use, you know, they are always in the gadgets, trying to communicate with somebody who is very far. And at time you feel that you need somebody who can embrace you, somebody who can, you know, you can lean on, somebody you can touch, and somebody you can feel. That is what they need.
Right.
But it is like they were constructed, or they were exposed to see that with gadgets, everything is done. You know, you can work online in the house, no interaction. You can chat with somebody, you're alone in the house, you can chat with somebody. But because of how we are created, we human beings, they need to admit for real, they are desperately in need of somebody they can work together.
Do you think that can be done, Brandy? Like, have you seen maybe a couple of your friends or some scenarios, someone being that open, like, I really need this, but I'm going to do this because I'm not ready to deal with this?
Yeah, I've seen some of our peers do it, but only a few successful ones, because nobody wants to be in that vulnerable position. Imagine opening up to someone that, yes, I do need love, this is where I need to work on, these are my weaknesses, but I also have strengths. Opening that much up, and then the person leaves with your secrets. Some people are avoiding that, but only few are successful. I've only seen like 1 or 2, and social media ones, but like that's not, we hardly see that, but we have heard of it, but they are never successful. After opening up, after putting yourself in such a vulnerable state, they still live with your information, and people feel exposed. People feel, yeah, it's like this person knows. And I don't know why people hate to admit that it's okay to be emotional, it's okay to want things, but it is viewed as weakness. You yearning love, why can't you love yourself? Like, it is viewed. If you really all that, you could have loved yourself.
So where do you draw the line between self-care, like loving yourself, and then also being very, yeah, like you're not human, you're not human enough to say that you need this, but at the same time you're like, I can do this for myself. You know, there's you loving yourself, and then there's you being loved, allowing yourself to be loved. You know, how do you balance that in your generation?
I wouldn't know that. Honestly, most of us would define love as what you receive. So that's why people would tend to shun the understanding behavior, especially at the beginning of the relationship. If you have to understand, it shouldn't be on the onset. It should be like, we are 6 months into dating, but now you have this problem, and I have known you for 6 months, and I know this is not something you easily do, so then I will understand. So people, when you look like piece of work in the beginning of the relationship, that you want more, you want a lot, you're not understanding, only someone who really wants you would pursue you still. Gotcha. And that's why people put their gates so high, so that if somebody crosses them, if somebody crosses the gate, then this is somebody who wants to work on you, work with you, grow with you. So that is why people will put a tough gate, and then after that, then they will open up as the relationship goes on. But in the beginning, people want to be tough, so that a fighter, like, you know, when somebody invests so much into getting you, then they probably do care for you. And that is when people will allow themselves to be loved, after somebody has done all of that.
I get it. Yeah. So they have to just basically jump over hoops.
Like prove that you will actually care about what I tell you.
Right. Panina, what then can be done, right? Because it sounds almost impossible, but we know nothing is, and there's a solution to everything, right? But how can they navigate? Should anyone be considering dating when they're going through all that emotional tunnel, when they're afraid? You know, should they just be focusing on other things as opposed to, you know, dating?
All right. Dating should, is when you engage yourself in dating, you need to seriously work on yourself first. When you're sober, when you know what you want, when you know where you're going, where you're coming from, and you know, I had this problem, I had emotional turmoil, I had some baggages from the childhood, I had some traumas, so many things that I'm scared about. Work it out first. Don't allow that. You know, loneliness is caused by something. There must be something that you want to replace with somebody. Bringing somebody not very close, not very far. No, you want to remain safe and you don't want to be alone. And because when it comes to a serious relationship that leads to marriage, you will be vulnerable before that other person, so that you can work together, so that I can do what are your dreams, what are your likes, what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths. And somebody decides that I know these are your strengths. And by the way, we are weak. No one is perfect. No one is perfect. And at times we feel so irritated when we see our ugly part of us. It is normal. Everybody has an ugly part. Even the very successful people, they still have their ugly part. Even their past sometimes they are very ugly. What you do is you empower yourself by knowing for real, for sure. Not loving yourself, not taking just a selfie.
But you see, that's the thing, right? Most of the things she's talking about is we're in a generation where things are very fast.
Yes.
People are looking very successful or being successful very, very fast. So it looks like you're supposed to be in a relationship, have gotten yourself together. Maybe you're 25 or 23 and you're supposed to have a car, a home, you own things, successful career, you've graduated, you've done all these things. So there's a lot of pressure that is, of course, pushing things in a different direction. So an 18-year-old could have dated for 2 years by the time she's 18.
She's 18.
Right? So there's a lot of experience. We also cannot ignore that part.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what we are saying right now is how can young people remove themselves from the pressure of what society is to now having, quote unquote, healthy relationships? Because you see, you cannot tell people not to. They still date. Work on yourself. Working yourself is a big thing.
It is a process. So what can they do? It is a lifetime process, by the way. It is not an event. It is a lifelong process. But what I'm saying is, now here I am hurting. Yes, because of what I went through, even growing up with an absent mother. There's a way an absent mother affects a child's life. There's a way an absent father affects a child's life. There's that the separation, the parent separation, they directly affect their children. And these children, as you move on, just call yourself, just simama tu kando, just take a break. Look at yourself. Look at the pressures around you. Make a decision, because we can, even in the social media, there are people who are there giving very, very right information, correct information, people that you can emulate, but it is like this, the success and the pressure is too high that you don't have time to concentrate on the things that matters in your life. Because there are things that matter. It is one's choice. Over and above pressures, over and above everything that is happening around you. You just retreat, take your time, reflect on your very personal life, because you'll not be young forever. Young time is just a very short period, and you'll be over it. And you'll still have time to invest and to have money and to have, but in as much as you're working hard, as far as you're concerned, you're coming out, you're working, just doing your work so that you can earn whatever you want, you are earning, and you're working on yourself. Just go slowly, because you know that speed can cause, even the speed on the road causes accidents so easily. And like somebody who is driving slowly with cane, knowing the road is bumpy and there's so many corners, there's so many things happening, there are bumps and all this, and the barriers. So
I see.
As you lead, because you're the CEO of your life, you lead your life as a person.
Interesting.
Yes.
Right. So, Brandy, there's always the perspective whereby, and it works most of the time, if you take your time and you know where you're going, you'll reach there, right? But there's a lot of pressure in this day. What I've basically told Penina, there's a lot of pressure to be a particular way, act a certain way, and it gets worse every other time, right? So is it one of those things that make young people, you guys basically make some decisions in relationships, right? Because if you see your friend and she looks like she's having a successful relationship, you're like, or she's affording things that, by maybe someone who's 25 should be affording, not her. How do you look at it?
The pressure that you get from your friends really affects people, but then again, we shouldn't let it, because everyone is running their own race, but sometimes we tend to let it affect us, because sometimes you'd enter a relationship at the same time a friend of yours enters a relationship, but hers seems to be moving at a faster rate, and
faster rate looks like what?
She's taken care of. The way normally you'd say unaweza ona msichana ako in a relationship from how she looks, like you only look like that because you spend on yourself, but she who's also in a relationship is looking way better. Like she does look good even before, but she's wearing better quality clothes. She doesn't have to struggle as much as she was. She has, she's being taken to trips, and you and your man are there understanding each other, telling each other that when time comes, I will do all this for you. But the problem is there's no time. When we grow older, we'll want different people. And we tend to assume that men go for what they can afford. So if this man is going for you right now and is not treating you as well, the moment he'll be able to treat you the way other women are being treated, you'll no longer be his type. Now he'll want those well-kept women, not you, who understands. Because you define your worth. If you put your worth as, oh, me, I'll just take bare minimum treatment and I'll be thankful for it and I'll love you and I will say my man, my man, my man every 2 seconds.
And that's a real thing that is believed right now.
Yeah.
Like it's really real.
People believe that way. People believe, but we have been taught, like, I don't know if it's our fault or if it's the social media's fault or society's fault or our own greed's fault, but like we have been taught that men will go for what they think they can afford. Like the shoe they will buy. Sorry for using objects. I look like I'm objectifying women, but that's yeah, the shoe they will go for right now is not the shoe they will go for when they're CEO. So you are the Air Force. You're the one serving these needs. You're the one, you're cooking for him with a girlfriend title. You're not even taking care of that well. And you're cooking for him, you're doing his laundry, you're there massaging him when he's from whatever he's doing, whether it's school or work. And you're getting nothing in return. So it looks like yours is not a successful one because you're giving way too much and you're receiving way too little in comparison to other relationships.
Right, right. So because we're winding up, yeah, what would you like to say about what she's just mentioned?
It is all about pressure, the social media, the people around you. And by the way, even the old men, they fall under pressure, because they can see that that other man has bought a very beautiful car, beautiful home. Pressure is across the board, everywhere. But it is you too. You can't avoid yourself. You can't avoid yourself. And if at all you're not comfortable inside your skin, there's nothing will ever make you comfortable. If you can feel contented inside your skin, there is nothing. Nothing can make you more comfortable. So you must, this is a must. Otherwise, one will end up to be miserable. If you don't understand who you are and where you're going and your values, there's nothing. Even if you change your values and you bring them down, it is like you value yourself with what you have and what you earn. By the end of the day, you'll end up to be miserable. Why? Because today you have a wife or a girlfriend, and you're in that financial state, and when you come up, when you improve, when you get more wealthy, you change the person. We have seen it. It is a reality. But by the end of the day, they'll be miserable. I
hear you. So, Brandy, very, very, very shortly, your final words on this matter.
First of all, I think that relationship is a luxury, and if you can't afford it, stay out of it until when you can. And that is mostly what I could say. That's because it's all we'd use that against men, and we'll also use that. We can use that against women. Like, if you can't afford to keep a lady as much as she wants to be kept, leave her alone. And if you're a woman and you can't afford to compromise as much as the man wants you to compromise, leave the relationship alone.
Okay. Ladies, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's a very interesting conversation, but we have also seen there's the healthy side of this, and youth is what it is, right? It brings different perspective on things in society in present day. Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming, Brandy. We appreciate you coming, Penina. And thank you so much for watching Money Vibe. My name is Remmy Majala. See you again tomorrow on Spotlight, right here on the show.